Rap Radio. Raw and uncut.
Cubo and welcome to Chicano Rap Radio. I'm your homie Snipes holding it down, and today we're being joined by the one and only Mr. Lil One. So welcome back to the show, G. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate, as always, you making the time to join us here at Chicano Rap Radio. I know last year you were really active, with a lot of different projects, and this year's no different. So thanks a lot for making the time to join us.
Of course, man. You're the homie, of course.
That's right. That's right. I appreciate it, G. So I just wanted to kick off the interview with, talking a little bit about some of the music that you put out last year, kind of how the reception was to your Ruthless album. And, you had mentioned that you were going to put out videos to your to every single track on Ruthless, for the fans, that have, been following us and are expecting the other interviews from that album. I mean, any little update on what's going on regarding that?
Yeah, well, I did shoot a whole bunch of videos last year. A lot of them were from Ruthless too, but the pandemic hit a lot of different people, and I film my stuff here, and then I send it out to get edited. But not everybody can really create the visual the way that I see it on film. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really picky on who it is that I choose to edit my stuff and who shoots my stuff, because just like people that make beats, like there's some dope ass producers out there that I couldn't even jump on their music because it's not tailor made for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my director unfortunately got hit with COVID. He was in an induced coma for a minute, and he's just getting back out of it. So I'm gonna just let him recover, and when the time is right, we'll get back to the videos.
That's right. That's right. Well, hopefully he's able to make a speedy recovery and he gets back to 100% real soon. We wish him the best, and whenever he is able to get back to work, then then we look forward to those videos. Now I know that you also from the last time we spoke, it was leading up to the release of your Ruthless album. And then, a couple months later, you released Los Enfermos. Tell me a little bit more about that project in regards to how that came to be, and, what the intention was with putting out a compilation album, or, I don't know if it's considered compilation, but it was more like a partner project, with Lucky.
Yeah, that wasn't a compilation. That was a project. That was just, a group album with me and Lucky. And, the objective is just to release music to the world. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, do some good music and, place it on the platform and let it do what it's going to do. That's really it. Lucky's reached out to me for a feature. We ended up vibing. He came out here. We got pretty close. He's a good dude, and we had a lot of fun doing that.
And there was a lot of heaters on that album, and the thing that I liked about it was that we were able to get a little bit more of that Spanish flow that that Lil One has. I mean, you get down in English and Spanish, but it was good to see a little change, especially when you're working with another artist, see how you guys kind of vibe with each other. I think it was a good mix. Is there an expectation of a second one coming?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things play out. I support Lucky and anything that he does, and his other stuff that he's got going on. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the year plays out. Possibly.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye on it, because I think you guys blended well together. I saw the visuals on the song that you guys did, and it came out good. So hopefully for the fans, we can see that collaboration again sometime in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, those visuals came out dope too. It was a lot of fun doing that project.
And after Ruthless and Los Enfermos, I mean, you transitioned into a project that you had going on with Mr. Shadow. Shout out to Mr. Shadow, by the way. We had him on here last week, and as always, it's a pleasure to interview people who have been in the game for so long. But he was telling me about the project you guys did together, The Missed Us, and that you guys have some upcoming videos for those. Have those already been shot?
Yeah, we got some stuff in the archives, but again, Me and Shadow are like peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying? Like when we get together, like our chemistry is absolutely amazing. And same thing, you know, we need those visuals to be the way that we see them. So they
Right.
need to be edited right. Sometimes you take on a video person that has, you know, 50 videos at the same time. You know, he doesn't really, you know, place your project where it needs to be. So I'd rather release something the right way than the rush way.
Right, right, because you want it to come out just right, especially you want it to be in line with your vision, what you see with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But me and Shadow, like we have an eternal bond. You know what I mean? So there will always be some Uno and some Shadow stuff going on, no matter what.
And on the Mistas Volume One, is there a song that's stands out to you the most versus the other one? I mean, you guys have a lot of good songs on that one, but is there one that maybe was a little bit
We just
closer to
rock
heart to
and
you?
roll, bro. Yeah.
Which one?
Nah, I'm saying there isn't a song. We just rock and roll.
Oh, you just rock and roll, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
when I spoke to him, it sounded like some of the standout songs were like "Stay True," and and "Static," and there's a lot of other bangers on there. But I mean, I think and the fans would agree that you guys just from beginning to end, you guys murdered it, you guys killed it. So we look forward to Volume Two. Is there any idea of when Volume Two might be coming up?
But we stay in the studio, you know what I'm saying? And we have like 5 unreleased songs that we're gonna release in physical form in addition to the volume one. So I'm gonna see Shadow tomorrow. So we're gonna figure that part of it out. But you know, the next video to be released is gonna be Stay True, and then we don't give a fuck for sure.
That's right. And you mentioned physical form. You mean you're gonna press up hard copies?
Yeah, and we're not gonna release the other ones through the digital platforms. They'll only be available if you get the physical copy of it.
Okay, okay. Now, from my last interview with, from my interview with Shadow, he was talking about how he had released an album, as a hard copy, and some people who bought that album because it was a limited run, they posted it on YouTube, and he felt that kind of, took a little bit away from the, from the exposure the album could have had. I mean, is there any concern like that now that someone will leak it to the internet if it's only on hard copies?
Yeah, I mean, you can't control what other people do. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have learned how to create links to watch pay-per-view fights from UFC, you know, billion-dollar corporations.
Right.
So, you know, we can't control what other people do. We're just gonna try to stick to the objective. And I think that diehard fans will honor, you know, the objective and stick to it. Whatever what anybody else does, they're gonna do anyway. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's like,
Right.
I think if you found an unreleased song and you knew it was an unreleased song that somehow got to your hands, I think you would honor it and be like, hey, hold up, let me get at Uno and see if this is cool.
Yeah.
There's still people like that left in the world. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. And when you print up the copies, I mean, is it going to be a small run? Like almost like a
That'll
limited
probably be a
edition?
very small run. It'll probably, you know, not too many, maybe a couple hundred at a special price or something, and you
Yeah.
know, put some footage in there. I don't know yet. I'm gonna see Shadow tomorrow. We're
Right.
gonna
Right. Right. Put a little extras in there to make it more like incentivized, for people to purchase not just a hard copy, but because it comes with the extras.
yeah.
I got an idea. Maybe, you guys can do like a breakfast with Uno and Shadow or something like that. A meet and greet with Uno and Shadow for whoever.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to commit to all that.
Little Uno comes and cooks for you.
Little Uno come make some chilaquiles in the
That,
morning. You know what
yeah,
I'm
there,
saying?
there you go. There you go. $1,000 a copy,
Yeah,
that way it's
$1,000 a
exclusive.
copy. You know, I was gonna say something else, but I'm not gonna say it.
Just keep it PG. Um, all right. Well, whenever it comes out, we're definitely going to support it. And, we, when the hard copies become available, I mean, we'll do the best we can to spread the word, and we'll definitely be interested in picking up a hard copy ourselves. You know, we're a big fan of the music that you do as an individual, and when you work with other people, I know it's a very well thought out decision. So it's good chemistry when you work with others. I wanted to get a little bit more into the music that you yourself have coming up for this year, because I know you've been working on things. I mean, you said you stay in the studio, so I know there's a couple surprises coming out this year. But let's take a quick little break, and we'll be right back. You're
Okay.
listening to Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Hit us up at 805-395-6595 for your special requests, dedications, and shout-outs. Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
We appreciate and recognize that we owe our success to you. So as a big thank you for supporting our culture, we'd like to hook you up for the next time you shop online. Visit ChicanoRapRadio.com and use coupon code RADIO. Choose from a wide selection of t-shirts, snapbacks, phone cases, coffee mugs, and even hard copies of your favorite music. Visit ChicanoRapRadio.com. Welcome back to Chicano Rap Radio. We're chopping it up with the homie, Mr. Lil One. We've been talking about the music that he put out last year and some of the projects that he worked on himself, and also, when he collaborated with Mr. Shadow and Lucky, and just some of the artists that he worked with last year. But I want to also to kind of get into some of the other projects that you've been kind of hinting at on Instagram, and one of those was a podcast. Is there a podcast coming from Mr. Lil One? Is that something we can expect?
Yeah, I've got the telescope room. That's what my podcast is called. And the first episode will be March 5th, the same day that Symbiotic drops. And the whole month of February, you will have all the details, and the promotion on it will be out of this world. So stay tuned.
Why you said the telescope room, right? Why the telescope room?
What's that?
Why did you choose the telescope room? What's the meaning behind the name?
Well, greed and envy, they're looked at through a microscope. And love and purity is looked at through a telescope. That's the difference. And I just think a telescope represents the infinite. No time, no age, no space, no name, just a free spirit to be able to expand with no destination and no limit. That's the purpose of the telescope room.
I like that. That's the solid, very, very like deep and intriguing. I mean, what kind of subjects you think you'll be covering in the telescope room?
It'll be about everything. That's the whole point. I'm a big believer in people's stories, and I think that for example, like somebody that has an addiction, and if they don't have a certain amount of time being sober, they get looked at a certain way, like, oh, you only been sober for 3 months. And I want to change that. I want to change people's perspective and make them understand that, a journey to recovery, a journey to making yourself better, when you do it with honor and it's sacred, it shouldn't be judged like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't knock somebody for trying to be better, so in between that and, artists that went from, being rappers to artists and beat makers to producers, contenders to champions, I'm going to interview you too.
That's right. Let's get it.
You know what I'm saying? Like your story,
That's right.
Anybody, the whole world's got a story, dog. So to the
Yeah.
day I expire, I'm going to make sure that there is pure, sacred, content floating around the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we definitely know that you're going to come with it, because you are you're an intelligent individual, and it comes through in your music, but it also comes through in the videos and the clips that you put out, on social media. I think you are a source of inspiration for a lot of people because of your knowledge, but that you come from like a good, pure place, with positivity, you radiate that out. So, we look forward to that, because I think you have helped a lot of people, kind of get through their day or through their week with some of the words that you say. Maybe they needed to hear those things, and you popped right up and said them, so we appreciate that. We look forward to that.
And likewise, you're an inspiring guy too. If we have a voice, we need that voice to have purpose,
right,
and help people be able to get through their life, not just the day.
Yeah.
Because it's possible.
Yeah.
A lot of people have no idea, bro, how their egoic mind and how psychological time consumes them and confines them and imprisons them and doesn't allow them to be free, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a vice, whether it be, some reality that, they've created in their head, bro, that completely imprisons them.
Yeah.
Me being on the other side of it, I want to be able to free as many people as I possibly can.
Yeah. And some of the messages that you have, that I've read from you, some of the messages that you have sent me recently, I've been thinking about it a little bit more. One, they're inspiring, and they kind of help me look at certain things in my life a little different. So I look forward to you sharing that with the rest of the world, because I think for the most part, our community, because of the environment that we grow in, there's a lot of people or kids that grow up with certain traumas that they tend to carry on into their adult life. I feel like, us as thought leaders, we do need to be able to give the next generation something to hold on to help them deal with these traumas, and sometimes, avoid mental health issues that in turn, it just creates a cycle, and a self-defeating cycle. What are your thoughts about mental health issues in the community, that we live in? Is what can we do to kind of help get away from that and empower our people?
I think there needs to be people need to take mental health more serious in their own homes and with their own peers. There's a lot of mentally unhealthy people in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that don't understand the dynamic of their behavior, even just being destructive, egotistical. Ego is Satan. You know what I'm saying? And give people a better understanding of, the opposite of that. There's people you can help. Like, the best thing you can ever do in your life is try to help somebody be better. Some people have no understanding of how they're shameless. And if they don't understand that they're shameless, they're going to continue to be scandalous.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There'll be people you may have helped that will demoralize you because you didn't stay in that parasitic space with them. If you step into a parasitic cycle to help someone get out of it, and you leave, like ram your car into a wall and see how long before it breaks down and you can no longer drive. Don't brush your teeth for 2 years and see what happens to your mouth. Stop paying your bills and see what happens to your life. Stop eating food and see what happens. If you don't do the maintenance and the mental and emotional hygiene that you need to do every day, you're going to destroy yourself. And there's a lot of people that look good and seem good that are completely dangerous and disturbed and dysfunctional internally.
Right.
And we need more truth about that, and more education about that, and more people to be aware about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people are in complete denial of how serious that shit is, because when you get a room full of parasitical people, bro, they don't see anything wrong with the parasitical behavior.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so we have to teach ourselves how to prepare ourselves with things like this, how to be emotionally intelligent, how to be emotionally healthy, how to change the dynamic of the universe, your own universe, and make sure that we can carry that. You're a father, I'm a father. I want to make sure to teach my children with behavior, with examples, not words, on how to make sure to be prepared, to be ready in society with what's out there.
Yeah.
Especially like you said, where we come from, like there's a lot of dysfunction going on over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm, before we get away from the subject, I did want to get your 2 cents on something that you had mentioned, which to me just really kind of set me off on this journey, this like real introspective journey of who I was as an individual and what I can do to kind of heal some of the traumas that I maybe grew up with, that get in the way of my happiness now. You sent me a message that said, whatever is stored in darkness becomes distorted. I mean, is that an awareness like fresh water is meant to flow? Can you expand that a little bit just briefly before, we kind of, get away from the subject?
Well, Doug, I mean, if you really think about it, the only thing that removes darkness is light. The only thing that removes you being cold is heat. You have to nurture yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to clear the distortion, because see, a lot of people don't understand, dog. Like, time only exists for practical matters. Like, can we Zoom tomorrow at 1? That's
Right.
what time is for. That's chronological time. But psychological time, that's moments and memories. So psychological time is what confines you. You play these memories in your head over and over, like you said, traumas, negativity, letdowns, sabotage, and it robs you of the present moment, dog. Same with the anxiety of the future. Am I going to succeed? Am I doing this right? What am I going to do? How am I going to pay this? You're robbing yourself of the present moment. So you're either captive or confined to the past or to the future, and it doesn't allow you to be in the present moment. And only in the present moment is when you can experience true bliss. You got to nurture your spirit. You got to honor your spirit. You got to continue to engage in the things that make you who you really are. And the rest takes care of itself, dog. That's how this shit works.
Yeah.
That's truly how it works. The more time you stay obsessed and I need to be number one, I need to be famous, that same energy is gonna rob you of being free, because you become obsessed with something, bro, that does not allow you to engage in the things that are important, broski.
The present.
The present, bro. Everything is in the present moment. That is the only way that you can rid suffering, in the present moment. And it doesn't take, it happens like this, but you have to honor the present moment.
Yeah.
You have to be pure to the present moment. You have to really be able to do it. People are like, I'll start Monday. Oh, okay, so it's the 23rd. I'll start on the 1st. Bro, they just prolong suffering.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. If you decide tomorrow, like, you know what? I'm tired of living this way. I'm tired of being in and out. I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of getting verbally abused. I'm tired of being physically assaulted. I'm tired of living in fear. You know what I'm saying? Fear is anxiety. It's psychological time that consumes you. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, and it starts with self-love.
Yeah.
Everything starts with self-love, because you have a price and I have a price. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about love. When you love yourself, your price is high. You're not going to accept abuse. You're not going to accept disrespect. You're going to carry yourself at a high level because you value yourself.
Exactly.
So your engagements that you do in life, whether it's work, whether it's school, whether it's, your purpose, you're going to do it at a high level, and a high level won't fail you, because you will be aware that you're aware, bro. You'll be doing it for all the right reasons. People are in a relationship right now, bro, for all the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. People are suffering right now for all the wrong reasons. Attachments to sex, attachment to fame, attachment to money, attachment to, you name it. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta ask yourself, do I really want to convince myself that I am this person that I post, when after I press send, I'm not that person? I'm completely miserable. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And the closer you are to what you post, the easier you're going to make it for yourself, because you set these, mental barriers and these imaginary artificial images to, make people believe that you really are somebody you're not. And if you live like that, you're gonna live in a facade. And you know that it's your own truth that's going to betray your growth.
Yeah. Wow. That's powerful and very deep. I think that's a good place to take another quick little break, and we'll come right back. I want to get into Symbiotic, and I think that's a good transition. I appreciate you sharing that with us. I appreciate it
For
very
sure,
much.
my brother.
That's right. That's right. You're listening to Chicano Rap Radio, raw and
Chicano
uncut.
Rap Radio.
Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Welcome back to Chicano Rap Radio. We've been having a really good conversation with the homeboy, Mr. Lil One. We've been talking about his music, his projects, his upcoming projects, especially his podcast, and we're really looking forward to the Telescope Room. Now, you mentioned that you're going to release the first episode of your podcast, the Telescope Room, on March 5th to coincide with the release of Symbiotic. Tell me a little bit more about Symbiotic. What's that album? What's the concept behind that album?
Mutualism. You know how the piano and the drums and the hi-hat and the speakers, they all go together in symbiosis, right?
Yeah.
So, a lot of people don't really look at it like that. I do, but that's a lot of up-tempo, refreshing, feel good music. So I'm excited about it. It's a good album. It's not the vintage spooky Mr. Lil One music. And again, like I don't pigeonhole myself. You know what I mean? Like I go in the studio and I do what I want to do. So that's some feel good beach music. There's a couple acceptance songs that sound like breakup songs, but they're very powerful and very meaningful, and they have a lot of purpose.
That's right. And is a project complete, or are you still, doing some last minute kind of touches on it?
I'm doing some last minute stuff, some additions to it, but it's if I wanted to release it tomorrow, I could.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna send you some exclusives when, like tonight or tomorrow.
All right, we appreciate that. We'll make sure to keep it locked in the vault. You won't be hearing it, leaked anywhere, unless it's like a planned, leak. You know how some people do that shit, like, oh, it leaked. It didn't leak. You guys wanted it to leak, to create excitement. No, we look forward to it, and we definitely, can't wait to hear it. Now, do you have any maybe standout tracks that once you release it that we should be looking out for? Any that come to mind?
Once Upon a Time is a really powerful song. It sounds like a breakup song, but it's like an acceptance song. I'm going to send it to you when we're done with the interview so you can pump it up.
Yeah. And acceptance of what? Like from whose perspective?
Well, people hear ballads or piano and they attach it to breakups. You know what I mean? So I think that, some people can break up and remain in good standing with each other. It doesn't always have to be ugly. It doesn't always have to be disrespectful or destructive. You can go your separate ways for whatever reason it was, and still remain in a good space where you don't have to have hate in your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just lightly touching on that, I think for the most part, people who kind of grew up in, in America or Western society, we're kind of domesticated or programmed to think, oh, this is my girl, it's my wife, I own her. Like you have some sort of dominion over this person, but, other societies, especially like Eastern, in the Eastern world, they don't all think like that. It's not always about like, I own this person. Everybody's their own individual person. And it's possible to have a symbiosis without being, a thing, a couple, so.
You're absolutely right. Man, and there's like you said, traditionally men want to keep women under their thumb. They want them to be submissive. I personally, if I was in a relationship, I would want my woman to be the best she could be. I would want her to be empowering and inspiring and to be able to live her life and feed her purpose and do the things that she loves to do. And I would like to be somebody that participates in her purpose instead of starve her of her purpose or rob her of her purpose.
Yeah.
Why would I not want her to be at her best? You know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, that's
That's
part of the podcast, stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and I'm glad you think like that, and I hope and anybody out there who's maybe a little bit younger than than myself or Mr. Little One, I hope you pay close attention to that because in regards to empowering our community, I also think aside from mental health issues, I also think there's a little bit of misogynistic mentality when it comes to our relationships, and I think in order for everybody to have a more fulfilling life, we kind of need to get away from that because we want to empower women to be equal and to be on the same level as us. At least that's my view, and I'm having daughters and everything. I stand behind it, and I think you somewhere along the same lines as well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of affairs in the world happening because you know people get imprisoned. That's why people want to have emotional affairs. They just want someone to tell them something nice.
Yeah,
It's there's a lot, bro. You
yeah, yeah,
on the same token, like you can't, like, accountability has a lot to do with it. Like if you're not accountable for your mistakes, you're never going to grow. You can't tell someone, you can't continue to destroy someone and be mad at the person for moving on.
yeah. Which
You know what I'm
happens all the
saying?
time.
Yeah, then it's like, oh, F him. And then what do? What do? Let me get dolled up. And then they meet another guy with another name, another face, and it's the same shit. Because
Cycle.
the internal part of it is not healed. You can't keep destroying and destroying, with a facade of with the way you look.
Yeah.
If you're toxic, it's gonna follow you wherever you go. You can
Right.
get a pig, bro, and you can take him to Maui. He will find the mud in Maui, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Still a pig. That's
Yeah.
right. So, symbiosis, symbiotic. I'm sorry, symbiotic will be released March 5th. Any other projects after that we can expect before you transition into the podcast world?
Well, yeah. Well, this year, bro, is my last year of actually recording music to release under Mr. Little One. So I'm gonna do Symbiotic March 5th, and I don't have the title yet. And I have some that I've thrown around, but on Halloween of this year will be my last Mr. Little One release, and then I'm just gonna entirely focus on the podcast, on my clothing brand. I'm doing something else that we'll talk about in the next interview. And I'll still be behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying, with the artist development and all that. But
Yeah.
as far as me as an artist, I'm gonna release 2 albums and I'm gonna call it a wrap.
Did anybody catch that? Did anybody catch that besides me? I mean, I think I'm in shock. It's sinking in right now. My mind just exploded. Are you saying at the end of this year we're not going to get any more Mr. Little One behind the mic?
No more Mr. Little One albums, bro. I got other things that I have to move on and
Yeah.
do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's definitely not the end of Mr. Little One, but as far as I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a little sad. I don't know how to take it. I mean,
I'll show up on Shadows albums for sure.
That's right. That's right. Well, I'm sure it's the result of an evolution and the next chapter in your life, and we're gonna continue to follow it. And anybody
Thank
out
you.
there, yeah, anybody out there, who's a fan of you and who knows you, we know that you're gonna keep coming with a lot of good content, a lot of powerful and empowering, interviews, podcasts, music, whatever it is that you put your hands in, it's going to be something positive for the world. So, we look forward to that. We're going to continue to support you. Anybody out there who's listening right now, make sure you stay posted for the Telescope Room. Mr. Little One's upcoming podcast. Make sure you listen out for Symbiotic. And then don't forget, this is your last chance. This year he's gonna stop going into the studio and recording music as Mr. Little One. So make sure you stay posted for the journey. Any last words for the viewers?
I just want to encourage everybody to continue to nurture your spirit. Getting up, exercising, reading. Even me now, bro. Like I feel way better than I did 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
Get up, dog, and nurture your spirit. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Value yourself. Honor your growth. Respect your children. Don't allow anyone to abuse you. Be the best at what you're going to be in a pure way, and you will never fail.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know, live your life in absolute truth. You've got to be brutally honest with yourself, and don't allow anything to stop you. Bro, having peace in your heart is beyond any monetary gain you could ever have in your life. There are millionaires all over the world right now, bro, that are emotionally bankrupt, bro. There's people that are like physically fit, bro, that are mentally obese all over the world, bro. If you stay true to yourself, you stay pure to yourself, and you honor yourself, you get to live in serenity, bro, which not a lot of people do.
Well, we're going to leave it right there. I hope you were taking notes. Been listening to Mr. Lil One, and this is Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.